Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tony Talks, Get Up and Grow, where I have conversations with inspirational leaders, influencers, and change makers, people that aren't just doing well in life, but that are doing good in the world. And remember that this is an interactive conversation, not just a conversation with myself and my guest, but also a conversation with you. And I welcome your comments, your questions, and your involvement. So we are streaming to Facebook and to YouTube. So join in the fun, share this link out to whoever you think may benefit from it. And with that said, I am going to bring on, with great pleasure, a dear friend of mine, one of my fellow Tony Robbins trainers. And she is an entrepreneur, coach, and business strategist. She's a speaker. She's a trainer. She's just an all-around sweetheart and quite the badass herself. Here she is. She's right in the green room. Here she is. It's Miss Tanya Thomas. Hey, hon. How are you?
Awesome, man. Thank you. What an honor to be here. And with the listeners. This is going to be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So good to see you.
You too.
And to have you on here. I haven't seen you. Well, actually, last time we saw each other was just before this situation got underway, beginning of March. And we were supposed to be together at some point between then and now. Besides the UPW, but it is what it is. Life is happening for us, not to us, right?
That's right. Exactly.
So tell us a little bit tell the audience, obviously I know about you and who you are, and that's why I love you, but tell our audience who you are and where you came from.
Well, first of all, I came from my mom and dad. No, let me start way back.
Long time ago.
Mom and dad, yeah. So really, the short of it, I grew up in Colorado, and I live in Texas right now. That's why you have the horses behind me.
I see that.
And, the thing about Texas, it just doesn't have the snow that Colorado has. Pretty much it. And a little bit about me is that I came into this world on fire to help people with their lives, period. I bring the light. I bring the rain is what I do, really, in different forms. I've worked in corporate America for many, many years. I worked for Coca-Cola forever. I own my own, restaurants. I purchased Taco Bells, Pizza Huts, and KFCs. Like we had 15. We started with 15 and ended up with 60 in 15 years.
Wow.
Right? Little bit. So I know a little bit about entrepreneurship, and then I obviously have my own coaching practice, and that's really it. And I train coaches and clients all around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I wanted. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I want to bring you on. And not only are you a dynamic, beautiful soul and such a bright light, and I just love learning from you and spending time with you, but you've had such an interesting past because, you went from many people have one franchise, maybe they have two or three. You had 16 that then you turned into 60. So that's quite a significant jump, which is why you're that entrepreneur coach, right? And so if certainly anybody looking for that, obviously I'm a coach too, but I'm not Tanya Thomas. So we'll give all your contact information later on in the show. But again, I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to come on and share a little bit of your knowledge, share a bit of your light with us, and tell us a little bit about the entrepreneurial journey and maybe some of the challenges that entrepreneurs face. Because right now, certainly entrepreneurship became this hot button word, right? I remember when I was an entrepreneur 30 years ago, it wasn't that cool. That just means you didn't have a job, right?
You didn't have a job. That's right.
You didn't have a job. You had a real job, people would say. I'm like, well, that's interesting. But certainly times have changed and it became, one of those catchphrases, right? So everybody's an entrepreneur, which is great. I'm not knocking anybody for doing that, but certainly you've got to have the chops for it. And in this market specifically, and what's happening in this current situation, it's that much tougher for those entrepreneurs that didn't prepare for the storm, right? Because we were in such a heyday. Life was going so good. Everybody was making money hand over fist that people forget to plan for a dark time. So there's a lot of people struggling right now, and I'll stop flapping my gums in a second. But I'm just going to give you the second part of the talking point that I'd like to touch on is there's a lot of people that are out here now. There's a lot of opportunity to go out and do something, right? To go out and start something, to go out and purchase a franchise, to purchase a business that maybe was too over leveraged before. And because of these 2 months of being out of business, now they're out of business. So there's a lot of opportunity. So if you could talk to us a little bit about some of those.
Yeah. Okay. So to be look, sure, everybody would love to be an entrepreneur. A lot of people call themselves entrepreneurs, and really true entrepreneurs, they are gladiators. They are warriors. You know, they are in the thick of things, and they go through all the seasons. So they're prepared for winter, they go through summer, they get ready in the spring, so forth. So that, you know, it's seasonal, right? And it's not just like, oh, I get to be in the summer all the time and rake in all the money. The thing about being an entrepreneur, you got to love it. You got to love whatever the industry is that you're in. To love it, love the people, love making the money, love making the change. You know, if you don't love it and you're just in it to make money, it's going to be a really tough place for you to be.
Yeah.
But again, I would say the number one thing is have passion for it. So entrepreneurs that work with me, for example, they have a business or they're thinking about getting a business, and you know, they find out that that's not what they want, because they think that having their own business, they have security. That is the last thing you have when you have your own business. There is zero security in owning your own business. And I know, coming from corporate America, which I had everything. I had company car, I had expense accounts, I had assistants, I was well compensated. Then it was just me and me. I did the marketing, I did the service, I did the hiring of people, I did the training of my coaching clients. It was crazy. I mean, I had no idea. And so thus I went out and sought the best of the best in reference to coaches, right? I went out and got information, and that would be the biggest thing that I would urge the listeners to do is be a sponge in the industry that you want to go in. Who's doing it well, been there, done that, go model for sure. And then of course, hire somebody. Now, a lot of people go, oh, I don't want to hire a coach, or I don't want to hire, a consultant or whatever. Okay, then you're going to do it by yourself. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's definitely not built by itself.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I was one of those people in the beginning. When I first started out, I didn't hire a coach. At the time, I didn't know what a coach was, right? A coach taught baseball and, coached baseball and basketball and football and hockey and everything else. There were no coaches, when I started 30 years ago. Or there were, I guess.
But they were not really well known.
It wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing. So I learned the hard way, right? But then again, sometimes learning the hard way, it takes longer, it's more painful. But boy, do you learn those lessons.
You do. So that's why we do these talks, right? Is for people to really listen to wise, sage advice.
Yeah.
We've been there.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you a story about self-teaching, about teaching myself, and this can equate really well to entrepreneurship and to not getting a coach. So the first time I ever went skiing, I was with my cousin Roy, and I said, let's go skiing. We'd never been skiing before. Mm-hmm. We get these skis. Oh, this is your size. Okay, whatever. I didn't know short, tall. They looked like they were gigantic. And we got these skis and we put them on, and we made our way over to the lift. And we looked like a couple of, it was terrible. We were falling on the way to the lifts. It was like a comedy skit. So we get to the lift and we ask, which one is the easy slope, the bunny slopes. Because here's what we did. We looked at somebody who was skiing that was wearing a red jacket. And everybody that wears a red jacket is ski patrol, right? Well, so, and boy, they sent us to the top of the freaking mountain. They sent us to the top of the mountain, the hardest damn trails. And you know what? In retrospect, it was funny. And I remember it took me about an hour and 32 minutes to come down the trail. I stopped counting after 30 some odd times. But you know what I did when I got to the bottom? I didn't go look for the guy. I got on the same goddamn lift and I went back up again. And it took me a long time, but after many times and going back many times. I now do that run in probably 2.5 minutes, just to give an idea, 3 minutes. I mean, that's really fast, but I'd say that. Why is that story pertinent? Because, sometimes we're out there and we get into business and we're out in the field, so to speak, and we see someone that seemingly knows what they're doing, seemingly knows what they're talking about. They look the part. They're wearing the suit. They drive the nice car. They have the business card. So we think they're ski patrol. We think they're successful, but they're not. They're just another entrepreneur. They're just another skier. Maybe doing it better than you are, but that doesn't mean that they may be one chapter ahead or 2 chapters. Doesn't mean that they're finished the book or onto series 2. So it's so important to get a coach. And this will go back to that whole thing of, I taught myself a lot of things. I should have gotten a damn ski lessons, what I should have done, right? But I didn't.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
So anyway, I just thought that story it came to my head because it was, I think, appropriate for that. So the moral of the story is get a coach, get a mentor, and get the right mentor. Exactly.
Well, part of it is what coaching does. It helps you identify what it is that you really need. And the thing is, too, everybody's a coach now. Everybody's a trainer. And they all have great stories or great resumes. And the thing what I would tell you, the way that a super duper coach is someone that really understands you. They can ask you 1 or 2 questions and your body never lies. If your body says, boom, it's it, we got it, then that's how you know. Otherwise, if they get lost in all this information, it's all about them as opposed to you. You want somebody that totally understands. Firstly, they've walked it, they've been there, they've done that. That's number 1.
Yeah.
And the proof, the evidence. Look at the evidence of their life. What's the fruit of their labor? That tells you everything.
That's so well put. That's so well put because, these days, you're right. Everybody's a coach. There's a lot of, not everybody's a coach, but every one of us really is a coach, right? Because we're all teachers, we're all students. But there's everyone out there that's now hanging a shingle and saying that they're a business coach or they're a life coach or they're a relationship coach or that coach or the other coach. And again, I don't begrudge them for going out there. But a lot of people just go read the book, go to a seminar, and they're a coach. And so I just caution everybody that's out there. And again, they're well-meaning people.
Do your homework.
But do your homework. There's a lot of people out there that are talking the talk, but have never walked the walk. Yeah. So, it's not that they don't walk the walk. Many times they don't know how to walk the walk because they've never walked it. They know the idea, the theory behind the walk. But if you've never, if you're a business coach and you've never been in business, you've never known what it was like to struggle to make payroll. You've never, struggled to keep the lights on. You've never thought about, how am I going to keep the doors open next month? Or, damn, this employee, she's pregnant and I'm going to lose her for 2 or 3 months. How am I going to, there's so many things that go into so if you've never walked that walk, if you've never known what it's like to get financing and insurance and paying for all these things that people don't think about, it's difficult to understand the plight of a businessman. Listen, or of an entrepreneur. I equate it to, and this is a little tongue in cheek, but it's like taking marriage advice from a Catholic priest. They've never been married. Right. So as intelligent as they are and as much as they know and as many conversations they've had, they've never had that relationship and that symbiotic relationship of being there all the time. Right. So they know it in theory. So that's,
yeah,
that's why I appreciate you.
Yeah. So the thing is passion, number 1, and number 2, make sure you get wise counsel. Did you hear me?
I'm sorry, go again?
I said, yeah, as you were talking about that in summary of all that, make sure you're passionate about what you're wanting to do and get wise counsel.
Yeah.
Get wise. Oh. Yeah. Model after the best.
Model the best. And I say this all the time, only take advice from people you're willing to switch places with.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you're not willing to switch places with them, don't take advice from them. Exactly. Listen to them, shake your head, say thank you, and
keep moving.
Keep moving. Keep moving. Exactly. So it's so important. Deborah says, hey, met you yesterday, and now I get to hear your podcast. I don't know if that, I don't have my glasses on, so I don't know if that was for you or for me.
No, not me.
Either way.
Yeah, not me.
Dana says, sometimes the coach does such a good job, they bring up their client to their level and the client becomes a coach. Ah, awesome. That's true.
Well, that's cool.
And that's exactly the way it should be, right? It's
That's
we
cool.
teach people, we guide people. And by the way, she's one of my clients. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's okay. But that's good.
But the reality of it is we are all teachers and we are all students.
Mhm.
And, you know, sometimes a student becomes a teacher and the teacher becomes a student. And we're all students of life. I say it all the time. I'm a student of life. Everyone I know, that everybody I meet, and I try to tell people this, keep an open mind, because everybody that I meet and everybody that you meet knows something that you don't.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's true.
the life experience that they've had, you know, a thought that they can share.
Right, cool.
Oh, I guess. Sorry, Deborah. It's for me. It's too funny. Like I said, I should be wearing my glasses. I've only started wearing readers not long ago, so I'm still not used to it.
I understand. All right. So what's your other question?
So tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got into the franchise industry, because that's certainly something that's big right now. And what are some of the tips that you can give people, some of the suggestions, and some of the warnings and pitfalls that come with it?
Yeah. So you know, there's a couple of things. Well, first, you have a desire to help change things, right? And so we wanted to find a franchise that we could work with, and because I worked for Coca-Cola, so I wanted to have a job on the side as well, you know, income on the side as well, just in case something happened with Coca-Cola. Not that it would, but you never know. And there was just this drive inside that I just wanted to have my own. And so I looked at Subway, I looked at Mailbox, etc., all these different franchises, and all of them just didn't suit our needs. But the need that we wanted was we want to be able to build a well-known brand. What Subway was it was becoming well-known. And I knew Fred DeLuca specifically, and, you know, I could have had territories and all that stuff, but it just didn't really, you know, grab us. And we also got counsel not to buy one or two restaurants, because when you do that, you're an employee, you're not an owner. You're working those stores, you're just trying to keep, you know, and by the way, you don't make that much money as a single operator of one store. So we landed a deal to buy 22 Taco Bells, because Yum Brand, and this is why it's prevalent for today, Yum Brands had just purchased, you know, Pizza, KFC, et cetera, and they were corporate stores for years. They didn't franchise at all, and they decided they would do a better job and make more money if they had franchises in the marketplace with KFC, you know, Pizza, et cetera. So they were offering sweet deals for people to become franchisees. And so they offered us Lubbock for, like, Pizza Hut was like 70 or 100 Pizza Huts all in that Texas area. But we went down there and we were driving, and so much cotton, it really didn't fit our, you know, cotton really wasn't our thing. And, you know, and it was just one brand, and all those stores is great, but it's Pizza Hut, right? It's just one brand. So we got counsel to make sure we get, you know, we have a vast variety and be in a big city. So then we had an offer for Taco Bell in Kansas City or Atlanta, right? And Kansas only had like a handful of stores, but Atlanta had 22 Taco Bells. So in 18 months, we went and we, you know, drummed up money. We had some money, and you know, we purchased the 22 Taco Bells, and then, you know, we just kept buying businesses. We kept buying franchisees rather, that were done. They were aging out of the market, and we just kept buying 5, 10. We never bought one store.
Oh, it's systems, right? It's systems. It's systems. You got the system down, right?
And so what we're doing is looking for opportunities. Sometimes we created a management company within our company, which we went to go and manage other Taco Bells. They saw how well we were managing Taco Bell. They were, as an owner, they're like, hey, here you go. You know, so we got to, you know, that's how we grew so quickly, actually.
Oh, fantastic.
Quickly, but that's it. So in this market, what's happening? There are a lot of people that whether it's Airbnb, oh my goodness, property is like insanity. People are trying to just unload because they're over leveraged, or restaurants as well. You know, there are a lot of restaurants as also, but here's the deal. If you're buying a brand, make sure there's a system behind the brand. Because if you're buying ma and pa, you're just buying it. What are you doing? I mean, I understand, and if you want to do that, but again, the long-term growth in that and how much money you're going to be making over time, you know, may not be great, actually.
You know, everybody starts somewhere, and you know, not everybody. And I'll just say the flip side of it. Not everybody has the opportunity to go and buy 22 stores. Maybe you can buy 2 or 3 at a time, or if you buy one, just start making plans to acquire others along the way.
We didn't either.
I know, because you think outside the box. So that's great. Actually, that's another great point.
Yeah, we were working in corporate America. We had no concept of, you know, of this. So when we start opening up the, you know, the floodgates and start talking to people, we got coaching, right, with key people in the industry, restaurant industry. We went to restaurant conferences and just to feel the vibe and make sure this is exactly where we wanted to go. And of course, I mean so it's not like, no, but we did know after we got counsel pretty quick, because we really thought we were going to be Subway franchisees.
Yeah, but it's so important to get the right counsel too, by the way. Oh my God, it's so important to get the right counsel. Before we go on, Anthony says, oh my God, it's Tanya Thomas.
Oh my God.
Wow, what a superstar.
Oh my goodness.
He loves us both. He is a great dude. And Candy Sugarman says, hi, Tanya, loves you and hearing you. And Deborah says, Tanya Thomas has such great energy, and you do indeed.
Oh my gosh, that's right. So that's what I wanted to talk to the entrepreneurs about, right? Is that during this time, like in the earth, this is Tanya now, in the earth, there's an oppression energy. It's energy that has us, you know, feeling heavy, right? You go outside, you think you're going to try some sort of normal. There is no sort of normal anymore. And for people like ourselves that are light workers, that want to make things happen, that are happy people for the most part, it's a monster sometimes. So here's the deal. Be okay with not being okay, number one. That's the thing I learned through this whole process. Like, I don't like not being okay, right? But now I'm okay not being okay. Because now I'm taking care of myself and I'm being real. There's no performance. There's no, you know, pretending. It just is. Some days it's like, you know, I sit with my clients and I go, man, and they could just hear it like, man, let's go. Right? It's just, you know, put on your armor and let's go. Let's go together. And that's the thing. Now, that's number one, noticing that. So you don't always have to be so up there and so forth. You know, you can unplug. Really, one of my favorite words during this time is called savoring. And savoring comes from this course I'm taking at Yale called The Science of Happiness. And savoring is just a notch below energetically love. Love is like woo, bells and whistles and joy in your heart, fulfillment. Savor is when you're connected deeply and profoundly with everything. That means your all your emotions, the good ones and the icky ones. When you notice butterflies, when you notice, you know, something bad in the street per se, right? You notice it and you take time to just be in it. Because here's the deal. We are trained to go for tomorrow, right? Or look in the past. What did you do in the past? No. Train yourselves now. This is a great time to train yourselves now to be in the present moment. You know, I mean, that book, The Power of Now, that was in the 80s, I think, that came out. Eckhart Tolle, right? The Power of Now. And it's who knew? This is our time now. We're going to look back. We're at probably 48 days of this in the US anyway, of this lockdown, as they call it. It's gone like this so quick. But how many of you guys really took time to just savor and be in the moment and love and enjoy even the icky parts? No, I don't think, because you're too busy striving to thrive or striving to get out of struggle. Just be. Sometimes it's cool to just be.
All right, we're human beings, not human doings, right?
Yeah. So the word savoring, that's a deal.
Right. Savoring. Wrote that one down.
Savor, baby. I hope somebody makes a song of that. Yeah.
Savoring the moment. You know, because listen, once it's gone, you can't get them back anymore. You know, where, you know, the future is the present.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like right now, those words I just said are already in the past.
I know. That's true.
The present is such a small fraction of time.
I know.
Because 30 seconds ago is in the past, right?
Second ago.
So we're always living. So there's only now, and I think Eckhart Tolle says that it's just now. There's just now, right? Because tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. So to wrap our heads too much around what's going to happen tomorrow, to live in fear. I've been saying this a lot lately. You know, fear and faith both demand we believe in something we cannot see.
No doubt.
Right? So choose faith, because why choose fear? It's not going to serve you. And living in fear is like praying for shit you don't want, because you're attracting it into your life. You're focusing on what you don't want.
That's true. Right?
So it's like praying for stuff you don't want. Focus on the good. Think about the good and bring that into your life. Attract that into your life. And just remember that the future is now. Tomorrow's going to come, but it's not guaranteed. Right?
Yeah. So the question is the question for the audience is, do you have habits that are going to allow you to stay in the now?
Yes.
If not, will you create those habits today?
Why don't you guys jot down in the comments here, let us know what some of the habits are that you have that allows you to savor the moment, allows you to live in the now. What are a couple of things you've done in the last couple of days? What are a couple of things you can do tonight or tomorrow? Right?
Yeah.
You have such great energy. It's great. You're just sitting there.
And just like, yeah, it's true, right? It's like so much fun and joy in the midst of chaos. Yeah.
How do you handle, so let me ask you a question, which is one that comes up a lot. How do you handle chaos? How do you get yourself under control in the midst of chaos, or dealing with things that are out of your control? Because there's so many people. Listen, I know people that don't leave their house. I know people that have left their house 2 or 3 times in the last 2 months.
Right. Well,
but there's extremes, and then there's those people that you can't keep in the house. Right?
Yeah. So here's the thing. The way that I handle chaos is, first of all, understand I am in chaos. Number one, right? I need to be aware. That's what's happening. So when I find that out, then I need to determine, where's it coming from? Is it coming from external, a person, or external, a thing? You with me? So it's like a person or a thing, like TV or something, right? So once I determine that, then I get to decide, okay, what is in my control? You know, there's plenty of things that go, I mean, there's some of people's behavior is absolutely so horrid that I just can't even believe, and I get so upset, and then I go, you know what? And I'm conditioned now, but it's like, I got to stay in my lane, because the moment I cross over, how could they do that? Why are they doing that? Because now I'm going into controlling. I want to convince them. I want to give them tools. Nope. I am not arguing with people. Hey, your ideas hey, whatever works for you is great. You know, I'm good. You know, but I stay out of that. I stay out of that fray, because I can feel myself. And that's the thing. You got to know your body. You got to know thyself. Like so I am zero drama mama. Zero drama. Okay.
I think that's great. And I think I saw somebody, it was something, and it might have been the guys from Big Bang Theory. And one guy was like, well, why do you keep saying I agree? He says, well, because I don't want to argue with stupid people. But that's not right. And he says, I agree.
That's right. That guy is staying in his lane.
Right. And, you know, it took me a second. I'm like, oh, I see what he did there. Right.
Exactly.
Because listen, you can't change the minds of, you know, there's people that get engrossed in crazy debates. And I used to be one of those people as well, to the point when I like to have a debate. Have a spirited debate, like a good banter. But if it's somebody that takes things too far, I'm like, no, you know, there's no point in arguing that, because you can tell chances are you're not going to change anybody's opinion. So if you can have a good conversation, good banter back and forth, great. If not,
banter is different than chaos, though. Chaos,
what's that?
Banter is different than chaos, because here's the thing about chaos. Chaos is meant to destroy, cause you issue, cause you harm. That's not okay. Chaos. Right, because you're out of control. That's chaos. No, you definitely want to stay clear of that.
Yeah, and then it says here, meditation, attitude of gratitude. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. You know, sometimes just stopping and breathing for a minute. You know, I've been giving everybody these short, obviously the box breathing that you know we learned about. Yeah, well then there's that breathing, right? The fire breathing. There's the box breathing. There, you know, Brendan Burchard talks about it, just a 2-minute release meditation where you just breathe in, hold your breath, and just say the word release 2 or 3 times on the way out. Sometimes just to do that, to get recentered, because many times when we're in chaos, we're just focusing on one thing. You need to step back and look at the big picture, because there may be chaos right here, but if you look back at the bigger picture, it's not that big of a deal. It seems like everything's in chaos, but in the scheme of things, it might not be that bad. Right. So sometimes it's good to just step back and take a look at it from a different perspective.
So the same thing, this is for the listeners in reference to another tip. So as you have savoring, the other is meditation, prayer. So meditation also, so you have love, savoring, meditation, prayer. Okay. And when you do that, when you have meditation, that's another level of wow, of feeling fulfilled, of happiness, of goodness, because you have unplugged, you're hearing, you know, from, you know, God, or you're hearing from, you know, your discernment, you're being still, and you're listening for different ways of being. So when you go into meditation, literally, you know, people go, meditation, oh, that's emptying out your head. You know, especially for entrepreneurs, we're like, and then it's like, okay, when is this over? Because we're always,
I got shit to do. Come on, let's go.
Exactly. Oh, you know, like, and so, but when you really take time out to just be still, right, and meditate on, and it's always good to either have poems, have prayers, have some sort of structure to train yourself to meditate and just unplug, right? Yeah. So there's so much out there on meditation. So you have plenty, but just know whenever you meditate, you definitely, your endorphins, your adrenals, everything goes exciting.
Yeah. Listen, meditation is important, and so is thinking time, especially for everybody, but really for entrepreneurs is, you know, we're so busy doing, and I know, listen, I speak for myself. I've made just about every mistake an entrepreneur can make along the way.
Me too.
You know, until I learned, right? I mean, I've been doing that for 30 years, so I learned a thing or two over the years, right?
But you're here. But that's why
I'm here. That's right. I'm here. I survived. I made it. And the reality of it is, it's important to have that thinking time, not just that doing time. We get so involved in doing and just pushing forward, that you don't spend enough time thinking and slowing down your mind with meditation, just to slow your mind down enough so that you can think clearly. Right.
So I will do a nice little plug. You know, our buddy Keith Cunningham's book is one of the best PhD books in business ever. Keep it simple, stupid. Keith Cunningham. Because in that book, there's 736-ish questions that he asks an entrepreneur in different areas: operations, finance, service, marketing, you name it. And you sit down, you have a case study, then you sit with the questions and you answer these questions for yourself or your team. That's thinking time. That's unplugging and just being with the material. Most people don't take time out to do that. Thus, their businesses are a little haywire. But those that, follow that prescription of thinking and really sitting and strategizing and thinking outside the box is perfect. So a lot of people, if they go in their own mind, oh, let me think about this. You do not have the questions. You are not trained to ask the questions that are in this book yet. It's 40 years. It's 40 years of experience. It's just like with myself. I mean, I have not 40 years. Okay. I'm not that old. No. Yeah, I have a lot of years of experience of asking questions.
Yeah.
And, if you think you have the questions to ask yourself, you do not, because you keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's all I have to say.
It's so important. The power of questions. I think, I forget who set it up a little further earlier. I think it may have been Lynn that said, the quality of questions you ask equal the quality of our lives. And it's so true. The quality of questions, and that's true for your life and your personal life and everything else. But in business, again, to quote our buddy Keith Cunningham, the question that I kept asking myself is, what don't I see? Right?
Yeah.
What don't I see? Because it's never the threat that you can see that kills you. Rarely is it the threat that you can see that kills you. It's the threat that you can't see. Right?
Yeah.
It's that one thing that you didn't think about. It's that one person that you forgot, you failed to fire. It's that one person that, you shouldn't have gotten into partnership with, or you should have gotten out of sooner. There's a lot of things. So what can't I see is really a good thing to think about when you're negotiating, when you're looking at deals, when you're doing business, and in life, period. What can't I see? What don't I know? What else could this mean?
Yeah, which is a blind spot.
Yeah.
Right. There's great books out there on blind spotting. But that's why, again, you hire someone that has this information that can help you see the force. One of my big metaphors for what I do is I am a gigantic flashlight. My job is to bring the light, right? Bring the rain as well, but bring the light so you can see what you're not seeing. Right? By asking questions that help you uncover what in the world. Right? And then you make choice from knowledge rather than making choice from you think it is.
Listen, a great mentor, a great coach, like a great instructor, I said this yesterday, is, someone who teaches you not what to think, but how to think. Yeah. Not what to see, but where to look. Right? And that's where the power of questions come in. And that's where the power of questions from a good mentor, from a great mentor, from a great coach that knows the questions to ask, because they know the questions to ask, because they felt them, because they've been there, because they can recognize. Half the times I'm asking somebody a question, I already know the answer to their question before I ask it, obviously, right? And same thing with you. That's why we do what we do, right? Is we already know the answer to the question, but we just kind of guide you to maybe for you to find your own answers. It's not our job to give answers, but it is our job to help you look for them. And
yeah. We may not know exactly their answer, but we know enough pattern, right? Because it may take them somewhere else, but we know patterns. That's what we know. And so we were able to help them, see things completely different.
Yeah, so true. So true.
Right, cool.
So what else have you been doing to keep yourself busy during this situation?
Lord help us. I mean, honestly,
inquiring minds want to know. At least this one does.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm working on my book. I'm almost, it's already done. So it's turning into a course. It's a book called Love is an Inside Job. So it's pretty intense, but it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for people that are brand new to personal development, but it really helps people go deep and wide, right? And to really live in whole, healed lives. So that I've been working on. And actually, the truth of the matter is, up until last week, I'm just going, okay, I'm supposed to be doing something more. So I'm thinking with, trainer buddies, I'm supposed to do this over here. I'm supposed to go over here, do this with the corporations. And I'm just going, okay, there's something. And I got this hit that was a download you know, and for me, you know, my faith. So it was a download from God, and it was like, I have this foundation. It's called Bravo Bravo Foundation. And Bravo, like Bravo, Bravo, you know, it's always like standing ovation and all that stuff. So I created it a long time ago, and I really help entrepreneurs that really can't afford coaching. So I used it a few times, but that's it. And this download was, I am to use the foundation for first responders. We have coaches, Tony, you're one of them. We have coaches around the world, really hundreds of coaches around the world that are skilled and ready to help, right? And the first responders, what people don't get yet is the effects are happening to the first responders of isolation, of, you know, emotional havoc, et cetera, et cetera. They are in war. For us, we get to go home, we're home and we're cooking and so forth. These guys go and help. They're on the front lines, seeing death, seeing all of that. Then they come home and they have to, you know, whatever they have to go through. I mean, you can imagine, right? Oh,
man, my wife's a nurse.
Oh my God. So you know, and so here's the deal.
Exactly, yeah.
So yesterday, you know, so I've been really working on that and putting it together. And then yesterday I got the confirmation that, I mean, it was like everything, and I'm sharing this with the readers or listeners so that you guys know when you're on path. So I through my YouTube or whatever it was, news feed, I get this news feed about this doctor who committed suicide yesterday. And I literally said I was too late. You know what I mean? Like but I just got it, right? So then I, you know, said, but that's, I'm on path. I know this is what we're supposed to be doing, because we as a community, there's a lot of people who are going to need help, right? And so this is going to be my big push to help the responders feel and know that they can, you know, come to a place with, there's no judgment, it's safe, that can just be in and continue to just, you know, feel seen and loved, you know, and we have the skills to do it. And that's what I'm up to. That's my big thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Listen,
globally.
This is why I do this, right? I do this. I bring really cool people like you and so many others to come on, share a little bit of, share some wisdom, share some knowledge, share some love, share some light, share some tips for life, some strategies. Because look, I think that you're right. We do have the tools. As I've said to many other coaches and trainers in our own circles, that this is what we've trained for, right? This is what we've been working on. This is the time. And if you're someone that can help, this is the time to stand up and help.
Exactly.
This is
it's okay. If it's not, that's okay, because you'll find your place. Like I found my place. I didn't, you know, I thought it was with kids. I thought it was the homeless. You know what I mean? Like but I found it. So.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. It's always when you find your calling.
on a different, it just whoop, whoop, pivot, right? Yeah. And that's entrepreneurship. You know, it's like you think you're going down one way and then it's not. It's supposed to be something bigger and grander. It's always bigger and grander. That's how you know. Like I obviously wasn't dreaming big enough in that regard.
You know, they say the next level of you is going to require a different version, and in order to get in order to your future you is going to cost you your current you, your past you, right? You've got to grow through it. You know, I posted this morning, which I didn't do it. I haven't done my little snippet talk about, but I'm going to do that tonight. Was that the greatest gift most of us have ever been given is the gift of potential. And the biggest gift we can give back is to tap into it and use it to help others.
Exactly.
It couldn't be more poignant to your conversation. You know, look at it. I literally posted that this morning. So it's so poignant.
I did, Tony. So the listeners don't know this, but I was with this man a few weeks ago in San Jose, and talking about being stretched beyond and becoming the new you, right? And so this man asked me, you know, we did this polar bear plunge. Won't go into details. And he turned to me, he goes, "You're going to do this, right?" And I'm looking at him. First of all, I don't do cold. I don't do ice. I don't do water. my hair, come on, you know, and just looked at me like, and I mean, pretty much, and it's freaking 1 o'clock in the morning and it's cold outside, you know, just all these excuses. He's like, and I just looked at him like, man. And sure enough, I did. But that prepared me. Stretch, get out. I mean, this whole thing prepared me for where I'm going.
Listen, everything that's happening in our life is preparing us for what's coming. That's
exactly.
just what it is. And by the way, I was wrong. Yesterday's quote was, one of the greatest gifts that you were ever given was potential. One of the greatest gifts we can ever give is to tap into it and use it. Today, though, is kind of right along the lines of that. Anyway, why don't you read that?
We all know what to do, but we all know what to do, but are we doing what we know? Hey, get up and grow, people. That's right. Well, I am. I'm doing it.
That's right. I know you are. Listen, this is why I'm having you on, because
oh my gosh.
It's so great to bring on people that are making a difference. It's great because listen, I know that you've faced your own struggles before, because we're just talking about victories, right? And we're just talking about a victory, but we've all had struggles. We all fall, right? But you know how I close out the show every day is, you know, it's not about how many times we fall, right? But we all fall, and it's okay. And again, this show is about bringing people who have fallen. It's about bringing people who have come back from what was seemingly impossible. It's about showcasing and highlighting people, which this is actually, it's a movement, right? That we're going to be, when we're able to gather again, and we may wind up doing a digital version of this, but it's really about highlighting people and bringing people to share their stories of perseverance, their stories of grit and determination, their stories of coming from what was seemingly impossible and yet still persevere and go way beyond what anyone would ever have thought, even beyond what we thought our own limitations were, right? That's the movement of Get Up and Grow, because we've all fallen. We've all been through dark places. And you know, the beauty, I know that, listen, you know why I know that you've hit difficult times? Because you couldn't be the light that you are unless you've been in the dark.
That's true. May I speak to that for 1 second?
Please.
Okay. So a very dark period in my life was when I left Coca-Cola. I was with that company for 18 years. It was security. It was money. It was prestige. It was all those things. But I had, again, that call that was like, you're done. And I'm like, so I went for all these people, managing all these people and accounts and everything, to nobody, just me. I mean, I had no clients. I had a couple, but not really anything to speak of. That was it. And I thought, what in the world did I do? I mean, what did I do? And each day I got stronger and stronger by doing exactly what I said to you guys: get a mentor, read books. You know, back then it was just books and, believe it, cassette tapes. Thank God.
I've still got Power Talk.
Yeah, this is not 8 tracks, but yeah. So there are many. So here's the deal about the hero's journey. We're all on hero's journeys, all of us, right? And a hero's journey starts out, you know, first of all, you start out, you know, having some experiences, some good ones, and then you have some really valleys that are unbelievable, and you just don't know how you're going to get out of them. And we have a few of those. And I used to be, because I'm one of those, everything's happy camper, you know, let's live in the positive. Let's not deal with anything that's icky. But that's not life. That's not real. And when I fell, and when I fallen in the past, it was a big fall. Like it wasn't just little. It was big and very public and very everything. So here's the thing. Learn to be good with failing and falling up. You want to fall up, right? So you get up and you fall up. You know, I know that's oxymoron.
Actually, that's the title of Dana Lisa Gang's book, is Falling Up: My Wild Ride from Victim to Victory.
Shut up, really?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, there you go. That's what we want to do. Right. And so just know, we always look at people's successes, and so we don't look at the journey. The hero's journey is who makes those falls make your character. You know, I couldn't be as who I am without going through what the hell I went through.
My friend, everything that tried, I say like this again, my life's a series of quotes. Everything that tried to drown me has taught me how to swim.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, you are a quote master. This is true.
I listen, it's one of,
It's your thing.
They're in my head. They're in my head. But it's so true, because what doesn't kill you does actually indeed make you stronger. And it actually prepares you for what's coming. It's like anything else. You want to fall, you want to fail when you're small. When you're playing small, you want to fall, you want to fail. That's when the bigger you are, the harder you fall. So, and if you've never fallen before, listen, yeah, falling and failure is such an essential part of success in any business and in life. So if you've never fallen, you don't know what it's like to fall, and you grow without having any stress, any pain, any downside. You've never fallen before. Boy, when you fall, it could be impossible to get back up. It's not impossible, but it feels impossible to get back up.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
No, sure.
I would say for the listeners, stay out of the closet of denial.
Listen, one of the biggest lessons I've learned.
You see it there, address it. Yeah.
One of the biggest lessons I've learned, I told a little bit of this story the other day, and I'm going to share it with you now. The whole name GetUpNGrow came from a friend who called me at night, and he was going through some challenges in his life. I said, he kept going. I'm like, dude, are you telling me your story? You're repeating mine. He says, I know, I'm calling you. How do you? And long and the short of it, I said, look, I was comfortable. I was in my comfort zone. I was doing well enough. And then all of a sudden, boom, my world came to a screeching halt. And bam, there was pain. And God said, grow. And I said, no.
Yeah.
God said, grow. And I said, no. And there was suffering. And God said, grow. And I said, no. And there was pain and suffering. God said, grow. And I said, no. And this happened for weeks and months and months. Until one day I accepted what was happening, and I stopped refusing to see what was in front of me. I accepted. Now I was no longer in denial. And the minute I did that, the suffering went away, because I grew. I got up and I grew. Because I was down, I got up and I grew. Until about a month later, more bad shit happened. Boom, God said grow. And I said no, and the whole same thing. But when I finally accepted and I saw things as they were,
exactly,
better than they were, because most of the times it's not that, there's the two bad sides, right? There's a thing of looking at things worse than they are, and you're just a pessimist and the glass is always half empty. Or you're looking at things better than they are. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine, because you're in denial. That is even more dangerous than living in fear.
That was my life. Hello.
You're like, oh, no. Your house is on fire. No. It's just cold as a fireplace. No. It's coming out of your windows. No. It's fine. It's just really cold.
Yeah.
Right. It's those things that you're ignoring in your life and in your business. Those things that you're choosing not to handle now. Those small fires that you're not putting out now. And that's what happened in my life. So I learned that story hard and fast. Actually, not too fast. It was slow as shit. I wish it had been faster, because had it been faster, I would have not gone through so much pain. But had I not gone through so much pain, I wouldn't have had the growth that I've had. So listen, it all happens for us, right? So if you're in pain now, just know that it's going to end, and you're going to come out stronger on the other side. So, yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
It reminds me of, listen, all of us, this is the path. It just depends on where you are. You're either going to a storm, you're in a storm, or coming out of one. Period.
Well done.
So you got to decide. When you know where you are, then you know what you need to do. Some people have no idea. Well, I don't know if I'm going into a storm. If I, look at what happens when you're going into a storm. Everything's hunky-dory. You're happy. Things are great. You're in complacent land. And then one thing goes, another one, and now you're in a storm because you didn't take care of the stuff, what you just said. You didn't take care of it. So now you're in a storm. Then you put things together. You put your house back together. Then now you're coming out of the storm. It's perfect. But we're always...
Yeah. And the reality of it is, sometimes the storms will always come. But if you've taken care of what you've taken care of and you've prepared, now you can go outside and dance in the rain instead of, trying to patch the holes in your roof.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to put pounds catch the water. Sorry?
Like the storm we're in right now, that's an external storm. That was
Yeah. Well, you know, it's external, but for the people that prepared for it, you know, whether it's business or whatever, or innovated, right? Because innovation is spawned by necessity. Those who pivoted and innovated quickly were still able to do things, right? Those who were more careful and, you know, have enough supply of toilet paper in their house. I'm joking. Because that was just kind of a crazy incident. Crazy part of this whole pandemic was the toilet paper thing. But hopefully the people that have gone through this and were uncomfortable, you know, obviously, certainly the people that were personally impacted. I know that we lost a couple of family members to that as well, unfortunately, and a few friends, people that we knew. So it's unfortunate. So obviously our hearts go out to all those people. But I'm not talking about those who were directly impacted. I'm talking about, you know, because everybody was impacted. Even if you weren't infected, you were affected, right? So for those who were still affected because you didn't have supplies or you didn't plan for the winter, just know that winter is coming, my friends. Just like the storm is coming, winter is coming. But it's your choice whether you're going to be freezing your butt off or you're going to put on your boots and go skiing, right? If you're prepared for it, you're prepared for it. Now, I'm not saying that I was perfectly prepared for it. And I'm not blaming anybody for not being prepared, because who could have been prepared for something like this, right? It's unprecedented, certainly in our lifetimes, a couple times over. But moving forward, I guarantee you people are going to have some water supplies at home, some cash at home, some extra food supplies, and some extra preparation. Just be a little bit different, be a little bit more aware, and how fragile things are. And really, even more important, be grateful. Because if this has taught me a lot of things, is to be grateful for what I have, be grateful for the freedoms that we have, the health that we have, right? And the people in our lives. And I hope that everyone that's watching here, you know, takes a moment to recognize that and realize that and be grateful for light and be grateful for heat and a roof over our head and for our health and for our medical system, and for our doctors and people that are out there taking care of us. Because in the midst of all of this, another quote that I love was from Mr. Rogers. Was, you know, he said that when he was younger and some bad news would come up and he would be scared, his mother was telling the son, look for the helpers. Look for the helpers. And that's where you'll see those rays of light.
Yeah, look for the helpers. So does anyone have any questions for me, or we good?
Yes, any questions? We should have asked before. I meant to ask before, and then we got we got into something else.
You know, just in case, ask the expert. Yeah.
Yes, ask the expert. Keep a sign in view that says, be still, do nothing. Yeah, listen, it's as important as doing something. And doing nothing sometimes is doing something.
That is it, true.
Right? It's that thinking time. So does anybody have any questions as we approach the top of the hour? Deepak, what's up, my friend? Sonia's here. Yeah. Dave, a lot of, we'll see. Well, yeah. Look, you know,
no. Okay.
I want to say thank you for coming on, and thank you for having this conversation with me. It's always great to connect with you and share some ideas and some thoughts with you. And you're such a light.
Thank you.
And where can people find you? What's your website?
www.TanyaThomasCoaching.com. Pretty simple. TANYA. That's it. Indeed.
TANYA. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Tanya Thomas.
Tanya.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Well, such an honor to all of you that are taking the time out to garner information. I salute you.
Lynn asks, how is Tanya so amazing? And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Oh my goodness. You know what? Thank you, first and foremost. Secondly, it's actually doing exactly what I was saying to you guys, following my own medicine. Was really savoring life.
That's it.
And my big part, it's like you may not have your big part yet, and just keep preparing yourself and it will come. I do know that.
Yeah.
Always, it will come.
Listen, keep your heart, your eyes and your heart open, right?
Oh yeah, no question.
And if
Yeah.
you're in fear, the antidote to fear is action. So get lost in the service of others if you're too lost. And if
Yeah.
you're too stressed out and in too much fear, get lost in the service of others. Because sometimes when we're in that too much fear, too much panic, too much of that, it's because we're just too inwardly focused. So focus outward and give a little bit more. Where has Tanya been hiding for the past year? Please tell her I love her and hope she's well. That is Deepak Suthar.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm kind of like that, a little stealth come in and out. Yeah. Hey, listen, I promise you, I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I'm telling you, you'll see me.
Awesome. Awesome. You are an amazing, he just said you're an amazing coach. You are absolutely an amazing coach. You are one of my favorite people. And I just want to say thank you again, because like I say all the time, our time is our most valuable asset. And you just gave us an hour of yours. And I so appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your light with us. We appreciate you. If anybody needs entrepreneurship coaching, Miss Tanya Thomas at Tanya Thomas Coaching is your girl. Certainly, you can always reach me as well. I'm a high performance life and business strategist. And you can find me at Instagram as well at Tony Rodriguez, just like you see here, 2.0, Tony Rodriguez 2.0. Are you on Instagram, Tanya?
I am.
And what's your Instagram handle? I was looking for you before, I couldn't find you. Then again, I didn't have my glasses.
Tanya Thomas.
Very complicated. That's it, Tanya Thomas? You got Tanya Thomas?
I'm pretty sure.
Amazing. Here you go. I just put that out there as well. And
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Tanya Thomas. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. All that stuff is relatively new.
That's awesome. Well, again, I just want to say thank you again for coming on here, spending some time with us. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everything you do out in the world, and I appreciate what you're doing for the first responders. Certainly, that's something close to my heart as well. And remember, then don't go away. Remember, for all the rest of you that are watching, tomorrow we have Brian Bradley back on. So Brian Bradley Goski is back on tomorrow. Yeah, he's got a standing Saturday. It's actually Peter Goski came on again for and we had him on 3 weeks ago, and he came on again last week. It was great.
I love Brian. Come
on and say hello. So join us tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And remember, my friends, that life is not about how many times you fall. It's about getting up after every fall. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. And in business especially, remember that falling down is part of the journey. Yeah. Falling down is part of life. You fall down 7 times, you get up 8. And it's in falling that you learn. It's in getting up that you grow. And every single time you fall, you do indeed have the opportunity to get up and grow. I appreciate you, my friends. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Do share this video if you feel so compelled. I appreciate all of you, and we will see you tomorrow. Ciao for now.